Hey everybody, this is Dustin, your RV specialist. And today I'm looking at a Outdoors RV, a trail series. And it was produced in August of 2019. So we're doing a free exterior evaluation. And I'm just gonna capture like some of the things that I looked at earlier. I took some pictures of it, so I'll post it in our group. But things that came to attention is it's now time to do a body reseal. As you can see, all the sealants on the front nose. This is a screw cover cap, and that covers the screws on a rail that helps secure the front cap to the body of the coach. That sealant's now dried out, cracking, and discolored. Again, here's that year. It's August of 2019. Other things, just same thing. The sealant's, discolored. A lot of times when you're looking at this stuff close, you have to really get up close on it to see. It's almost like a cuticle. So as I went around, and there's some areas that's not sealed. There's areas up top and on the roof that are the same, around the windows. The manufacturer usually stops sealing them right around the top edge here. And then as you can see, putty will start to bleed out. Putty will gradually get worse. Sometimes it'll have little voids and pockets in it, but we're looking for it, shimming and shaking. So if it's shaking in a small amount, it's usually forcing that out. As we get to other windows and stuff, you'll see it worse. Same thing with the side moldings, compartment doors. You can see where the sealant on the refrigerator is starting to separate, where the putty and stuff starting to back out. It gets worse down here. Of course, you can see where it's moved more from the wind catching it. So the wind's force is hitting this, shaking it, disturbing it, and then allowing it to bleed out. This particular refrigerator is a Norcold, so we're always recommending to put in the screen covers to keep the bugs, pests, and other stuff out of there. Same thing with the furnace. Propane has a natural garlic byproduct called ethanol mercaptan, and that is what is attracting those pests and rodents to these systems. Went up on the roof. I'm not gonna do a video on that, but went up on the roof. Roof looks in really good shape, other than it's due for an overlay. On the ladder, we did notice a lot of putty bleeding out. A lot of the sealants on that as well is coming loose. I have other pictures of that. Side seams on this side don't seem too bad, but again, the breather for the back of the toy hauler portion, you can see where the sealants are separated and cracked loose. Keep in mind the smallest little gap, smallest little separation or little gap, little penetration, that can cause you a whole bunch of grief. Oh, one thing I did notice is this light lens, the clips broke off on it, and so it's buckered out. And it's like ready to come loose and fall off. So keep an eye on those trim bezels that go around the LED lights. They typically fall off all the time when they shrink up from just age. Same thing with this side. As you can see, there's gaps here. There's gaps all along the side seam. So if they allow this to go unsealed, whether it's condensating, raining, or you're washing it, you're actually allowing water to go into the floor line of the coach. So you'll get an unseen damage. It's not like you're going to spill a bottle of water and come in and go, oh, I got a leak. There it is. It's going to be something that's going to take years for it to present itself. Again, windows not sealed all the way or cap sealed. Same thing with the speakers, awning arms. Actually, this end of the awning, the GIMP molding is coming out of the AlumiGuard. And again, I got a picture of that. So I'm doing just a quick rundown, but this unit came in for a wheel bearing pack. Obviously it's in the 5 to 6 years old range, so we're looking for problems that are going to cost you money. Plastic clip, we usually recommend to replace those to a metal. We wrote down to do a water heater service because there was a bunch of settlement stuff showing on the inside of the corner here, and then just age. We don't know when was the last time they serviced it. Again, the doors haven't been resealed at all. So there's no sealant around the edges of the doors. There's no sealant around the window edges. There's no sealant around the lock. And you can see that the gasket is actually slipped out from behind the lock, which is going to make the lock loose or unstable. Same thing with the Linda arm. It's not sealed as well. This happens to be a 22 TRX. And again, here's another window. So this window shows us that you can see how there's no putty bleeding out. And then as it comes further along, you see how it gets wider and wider. And then down at the bottom. Well, when people are looking at these windows and they're seeing hey, the thickness of my pinky against that rail, that's not how wide that is. You're talking about maybe a you know, 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch at the very most that's actually making, you know, capturing the wall as a sandwich. And that's what's keeping the water out. So imagine this putty that's bled out. Now there's a gap behind it. And that does that on the top where you can't see it. So as this is working itself out, it drops from the top, and then it'll allow it to enter in the top of the windows and run down and come and hit the walls or come clear down to the floors, or, you know, and damage it. We actually had another ORV in here a while back that had a front bedroom. It's a double door. And when they walked in at the door, their nightstand was around this area. The whole floor was rotten. And so in our posts and pictures, you'll see that. But it's just time for some love on this thing. Again, it's just, you know, you can see where the sealant was at one time thicker, and it's just got aged and fatigued. So it's due for a body reseal. It's also due for a scrub on the sealants and an overlay. I think a couple of the other little minor things I found was the 7-way cord. It needs to be cleaned a little bit, but some of the spacing gaps in the prongs, you can see these are nice and tight, and these ones are all spread out. So it might be a good idea to give those a little pinch, tighten them up. That way they don't have a loose connection in there. They got an onboard generator. I don't know when the last time it was that they serviced that. The tag is still on there. I would take that off. And then I believe there was a couple cracks in the fender skirts as well on this one. Yeah, right here it's starting to crack here and around the actual screws. So some of them in other areas are cracking as well. So just keep an eye on that. Something that you can either glue or use like an epoxy to it. They make even black epoxies nowadays. So anyways, stay tuned for more. Hopefully this kind of helps identify a little bit of stuff on an outdoors RV so that you can kind of be proactive and make sure that you're not going to cause yourself damage over time. Thanks so much for watching.